Hey guys, I'm live. I'm sorry, almost sorry for being so prolific on YouTube right now. I've done so many videos, but last night, not last night, last night, not tonight, but last night, I got 9 straight hours of sleep, and now tonight I'm just staying up all night so far. So I'm bursting with ideas musically. I don't mean to flood the internet or flood my channel with videos, but I'm just going with the flow and expressing what I have on my mind and all that. So sorry about that, but I think it's time for a lesson. I know it's probably supposed to wait for Hump Day Lesson Day, but that's 3 days away, and I feel like doing one right now. So thank you for joining me if you do. I'd like to make a lesson on scales and how I took from Alan Holdsworth's idea of using D and Dorian as a basis of all the scales that I use. To show that, I talked about it on one of my rants today on my walk, but I didn't show it on the guitar. I think a lot of things like that are best shown on the guitar. So let's get right into it. I use D at the top of the circle of fifths. That means D is 12 o'clock, and then it would be D, E, A, B, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, or E flat, B flat, F, C, G, D, okay, sorry, D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, or A flat, E flat, A flat, C sharp, A flat, A, B, C, D, E flat. Wait, no. Okay, D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, or A flat, E flat, B flat, F, C, G, and then D at 12 o'clock. So that would be what I just said was starting at D is 12 o'clock, and then 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 o'clock. It's back to D. And D's no sharps and flats, and going clockwise is sharp, and going counterclockwise is flat. It's the opposite for pentatonic, but I've talked about that before. So let's say I'm starting everything on Dorian. I'm using that as my basis, and let's say I'm in the key of E right now. E is an ear. So I start with an E Dorian, or E Dorian. Now, I can make that a melodic minor by just raising the seventh. So Dorian with a raised seventh, in this case would be D sharp, since I'm in the key of E Dorian, would make melodic minor scale. Then if I flat the 6, which in this case would be C sharp would be flatted to C, I get an E harmonic minor scale. Then if I let's see, that's flatting the 6 of it. Then if I go back to the E melodic minor, which has a natural 6, which is C sharp, and also D sharp, which is the raised 7th, I would have this again. Now, if I raise the 4th, which in this case would be A from A to A sharp, I would get a Lydian minor, or the 4th mode of a harmonic major. In this case, an E Dorian with a sharp 7 and a sharp 4 would be the 4th mode of B harmonic major, and that E Lydian minor there, or E Dorian with a sharp 7 and sharp 4 would be this scale. And that's a Lydian minor, E Lydian minor, which was the fourth mode of B harmonic major. So again, the Lydian minor. Then if I lower the seventh back from D sharp back to D, I have a Dorian sharp 4, because the seventh is not sharp, so I have a Dorian sharp 4, and that is the fourth mode of a harmonic minor scale. So that Dorian sharp 4, the E Dorian sharp 4 scale would be the fourth mode of B harmonic minor scale. So again, the E Dorian sharp 4 scale would be this scale. And then again, to raise the seventh back from D to D sharp would then again give me the Lydian minor scale, which is the fourth mode of a B harmonic major scale. And that would be and then flat the seventh back to D, and again I have a Dorian sharp 4, which is the fourth mode of a B harmonic minor scale. And then I can do some. I can sharp that back to. Okay. I can sharp that back to Lydian minor by raising the seventh again. And then, since that's Lydian minor, the fourth mode of harmonic major, I can lower the fourth back down to, in this case, from A sharp back down to A, and I would have, by definition, since it's a Lydian with a flatted 4, or Lydian with a natural 4 is an Ionian, therefore a Lydian with a raised seventh, but then with the fourth flattened to natural 4 would then be an Ionian minor, because it has a natural 4, a minor third, and a raised seventh. And then again, that is also D melodic minor in this case, or you could call it D Ionian minor, or D major with a flat third. So I went all the way around the circles. I've done a lot of work with starting with Dorian and getting almost everything that you could really want to do. Again, let's start with just a plain Dorian mode, E Dorian. Flat the 6, and you get E Aeolian. Make the 6 major again, you have E Dorian again. then raise a third, and you have the E mixolydian. Sorry, once again. And then from there, you get any scale you want. Raise the seventh of the mixolydian, you have an E major. Raise the fourth, we get an E Lydian. And back to the E Dorian again. Flat the sixth, and you get an E Aeolian. Flat the ninth, and you got an E Phrygian. Flat the fifth, and you have an E Locrian. So I goofed there. E Locrian. And you just get anything you want. You can start with a Dorian. It's as good a place to start as any because it's a musical palindrome. A Dorian up is whole, half, whole, 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 half, whole, and down it's whole, half, whole, 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 whole. It's up it's whole, half, whole, 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 half, whole. Down it's whole, half, whole, 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 half, whole. Same. And it's also the middle letter of the 7 letters of the alphabet. If you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you have 3 letters before D, which is A, B, and C, 3 letters after D, which is E, F, and G. D is right in the middle. And not only that, from A, B, C, D, the half step is between B and C, which is between A and D. Then in D, E, F, G, the half step is between E and F, which is between A and G. So you've got A, B, C, D with a half step in the middle, B and C. Then you've got D, E, F, G, half step in the middle, E and F, and it's just symmetrical like crazy. And then to work it out along circle of fifths with D at the top. Think of D Dorian as no sharps and no flats. So let's do that. D sharp would be 7 sharps, or D sharp Dorian would be 7 sharps, or E flat Dorian would be 5 flats, and that would be. And then E Dorian would be 2 sharps. F Dorian would be 3 flats. F sharp Dorian would be 4 sharps. G Dorian would be 1 flat. A flat Dorian would be, or G sharp Dorian would be 6 sharps, and A flat Dorian would be 6 flats. A Dorian would be 1 sharp. B flat Dorian would be 4 flats. B Dorian would be 3 sharps. C Dorian would be 2 flats. C sharp Dorian would be 5 sharps, and D flat Dorian would be 7 flats. Same thing in harmonic key. And then D Dorian is no sharps and no flats. So I just went chromatically. D to D sharp or E flat. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, or rather A, G sharp or A flat, A, B flat, B, C, C sharp or D flat, and D. And that was all the sharps and flats, like I said. And then at any given point, you just have a Dorian, and you can do all those alterations to get any scale in all 12 keys you want. I mean, virtually, it's great. So my favorite key is D Dorian, not A minor or C major, D Dorian. Or just Dorian in any of the 12 keys, but if you're in D Dorian, you have no sharps and no flats, so that's the top of the circle of fifths. D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp or A flat, E flat, B flat, F, C, G, and D. That would be 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and back to 12 o'clock. And now that's the main lesson I wanted to say. But let me just go over some tricks and things I use to visualize the neck for solos and scales. Just tricks that I use. You don't have to use them. Just look at the neck how you want, but I'll just show you some of the ways I look at the neck. Well, first of all, let me go into chords for a second. I know that seems like a dislocation there, but I like the an E major 7 sharp 11 implies an E Dorian, an E Lydian, or it could be C sharp Dorian. And if you sharp 2 of the notes, you go to F minor 11th with it, which is either F Dorian or F Aeolian. That's what's interesting. A major 7 sharp 11 chord can only imply a Lydian mode, but a minor 11th chord or arpeggio can imply a Dorian mode or an Aeolian mode. It just matters what the 6th is, and since the 6th is the 13th and isn't included in the 11th, it could be major or minor 13th, and therefore it could be Dorian or Aeolian. So with major 7 sharp 11 and minor 11th, you have 3 possible modes. Major 7 sharp 11 always gets Lydian. Minor 11th gets Aeolian or Dorian. Usually Dorian, but sometimes Aeolian. So I can go B minor 11th. I can play B Dorian. Then I can go to C sharp, major 7 sharp 11. For that I can play A sharp Dorian. Which would also be C sharp Lydian. Then I can go to D minor 11. That can be D Aeolian. Then I could play E major 7 sharp 11. For that I could play C sharp Dorian. This would also be E Lydian. I could play G major 7 sharp 11, which is G Lydian or E Dorian. Then A flat minor 11 could be A flat Dorian. A B major 7 sharp 11 can be G sharp Dorian. C major 7 sharp 11 could be A Dorian. Could be C sharp minor 11. Could be C sharp Dorian. And so forth. I think I goofed it there a little bit, but not too badly. And then another trick I use for tapping and for scale visualization is let's say I'm in a Dorian mode. Say I'm in B Dorian. Could be B minor 7th, B minor 11th, or B minor. I play the Dorian, but on the high string I can play a Dorian mode linearly. So I can go like this. I can go. It's a linear B Dorian, and then for the F sharp second string I can play an F sharp Aeolian. And then for the D on the third string, I can play a D Lydian. Then on the fourth string, I can play an A Ionian. And then for the E on the A string, I can play an E mixed Lydian. Oh, sorry. Pretty sound, okay. And then back to the B on the sixth string. It was a huge grasshopper. I think I missed him. I don't like him in my house. I think I barely missed him though. He's still gonna hop around. I didn't know it was a grasshopper until I was about ready to miss him. I missed him. He's here somewhere. Anyway, back to the B would be. Did I unplug myself? Did I get unplugged here? Back to the B again. On the sixth string would be B Dorian. Sorry, just there. So you can note little tricks. Since you have in a Dorian mode, you have all, or any minor pentatonic, you have all the notes across the string, all across all the strings on one fret. And if you're in, if you're on the sixth string, if you're in Dorian, then the fifth string would be Mixolydian, the fourth string would be Ionian, the third string is Lydian, fourth string is Aeolian, and first string is Dorian again. And you can do that linearly, all those modes. And then if you're in Aeolian, it changes, and if you're in Phrygian, it changes. A trick I learned today, I was doing Round and Round by Rat, love you, Warren. And I learned a trick while I was soloing for the outro solo. It's in E minor or E Aeolian. And I was soloing on the G string, and I didn't know where I was for a second, and then I thought about it afterward and I realized I know how to know where I am. How I know where I am on the G string is if I'm in E Aeolian, E would be the second fret, let's say, of the G string, then the open G would be an Ionian, because A, B, C. If this were 6, this would be 1, or since this is E, this is G, or if it were A, it'd be C. So this is an Aeolian on here, and then an Ionian on the open G. So if you're playing an E Aeolian and you're on the G string, play in Ionian mode, because E, F, G, Aeolian, Low Korean, Dorian, Aeolian, Low Korean, Ionian. It's just an Ionian mode on the third string. So I could do that solo better now if I were doing it again. In the end, it's like this progression. It's like it's just see how it's the home progression. He's got playing in E Aeolian, so he goes. I do that much better now because I know that the G string is an Ionian mode, so I can go. No. And that makes it easy to, if you know an Ionian linearly, and you know that if you're in E, that the G is an Ionian. If you're in E Aeolian, the G is an Ionian. Just play an Ionian on the G string. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. I guess keep loving rock and roll.